Spider Loc, Munchie B, and Deuce M's. Munchie B and Spider Loc been having a back and forth, and Deuce M took it upon himself to leak some audio with Spider Loc giving out information about Nina Boy to Reggie Wright Jr., right? And I'm gonna walk this situation down and highlight some things that I pretty much just wouldn't do myself, or what I found the problem in certain things, or what I disagree in, right? Now, I'm not saying that anything that any one of these individuals have said about each other is true. We are just going down the path of like, okay, so let's just say it is true, right? Now, I want to start with Munchie B being in Spider Loc's daughter DM, because I believe from what I gathered that probably was like the first thing that had like put a problem between Munchie B and Spider Loc, right? Now, the reason why I feel like it wasn't cool for Munchie B to be in Spider Loc's daughter being DM is because, for one, I can tell that Munchie B and Spider Loc's daughter do not have like any real interactions or any real dealings. Like, they do not roll in the same circles. I don't think that they are actually even in the same age group. You know what I'm saying? Then second, I would like to say that Munchie B and Spider Loc communicate based upon other women. You know, whether they just, speaking on how certain women is beautiful or not, or whether, Spider Loc is hooking up Munchie B, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And they also be on some like buddy to buddy type situation. It's gonna always be viewed kind of strange when you close with a person. Well, when two guys are close and then one guy start trying to get in a relationship with a female that's close to him. Whatever that might be, sister, cousin, daughter, whatever, right? Anything like that is going to always be viewed kind of strange, right? Especially because Spider Loc daughter and Munchie B do not have no interactions to where they can actually have an honest care or like or attraction for one another. You know what I mean? It's like for Munchie B to just jump out there and take it upon itself to fall in Spider Loc's daughter DM, and it's looking like, no disrespect to Munchie, but it's like, if you don't even know what she looked like, it's no other way to take it, but it just looks like you just wanted to try to have relations with Spider Loc's daughter. It doesn't look like y'all could have actually had some type of chemistry. It doesn't look like y'all can actually be attracted to each other, heart-wise, mental-wise, looks-wise, or anything. Which I feel like it shows based upon her telling Spider Loc. Because if she was sharing anything that was, they both was digging each other, then 8 out of 10, she probably would have been the aggressor in that matter, and she just wouldn't have went out there and brought it to her dad's attention in the form of, Dad, I think you should see this, because I just know in my heart what this dude is doing ain't necessarily operating on respect with you. Now, I understand, like, when you out here in these streets, when your daughter get of age, your niece get of age, cousins, your sister, whoever, it can also be people above you, your mama, your auntie. If they out here in these streets, then they always open for grabs. That's just the truth of the matter. I'm not saying this is the case in Spider Loc and Munchie B case, but I do just have to highlight some differences on how these things can go. You know what I mean? Now, when your people was out here, they up for grabs. It's up for your peoples to either operate in a way that people gonna respect them or not respect them. And if they a female relative that fall up under you to where they listen to you and what you have to say, then your job is to teach them as much as you can. You feel me? Because once they get out here doing what they doing, you can't really control the next person. You can only control who belong to you, right? I just want to give that different approach about that situation out, right? But yes, in my eyes, that was something that Munchie B should not have did. You know what I mean? I mean, even more in the form of like what Spider Loke said, like they was on no jumper, they gave out everybody Instagrams and all that, and that's how uh Munchie B stumbled across his daughter DM. That's even more like just, it could be it's just like something that wasn't cool. You know what I mean? It's like you went out your way, and we supposed to be cool. So it's also like, do you value the relationship between you and your partner, or do you not value it? You know what I'm saying? And then if it is true, like when Munchie, like what Spider Loke said, like Munchie B be talking about this, that, and the third, pertaining to like what he will do with women and he don't care and all this and that type of stuff. Then once your sex life is on the table with any guy, man, they definitely not gonna be in agreement of you trying to do things with they female, people. You know what I'm saying? That's just truth in the matter. Second, I also feel like Spider Loke and Munchie B both are making themselves look crazy by exposing and highlighting all these things that they just seem to be willing to overlook up until now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't agree. It's like Munchie B got STDs. What Spider Loke say, right? Munchie B say that the black box got nothing but mold in it, so he keep painting it black because all the mold keeps showing, right? Now, Munchie B got STDs, he got bumps on his lips and all this type of stuff, right? But was it a problem when he was still coming to the black box, yelling and talking and spitting all on mics and stuff like that? And then other guests and other people got to pull up to the black box and share some of this same equipment. It wasn't no problem then, right? When he was jumping in the whip and, hanging around and all this type of stuff, like just, you know what I mean? It probably wasn't no problem, right? I'm sure it was probably times to where Spider Loke or somebody, it was probably some food in the house and, they brought it out and, I'm sure he done used a utensil or two, you know what I'm saying, that belonged to the house. I don't think it was a problem then. And again, I ain't saying any of this actually took place, but this is just my take on it, on, how I gathered in and could have been some possibilities. So, if it wasn't no problem then, I don't feel like it was worth it to be a problem now. Especially because now he ain't even going to be around you. The same with the black box having mold in it. Was it a problem when you kept showing up to the black box, Munchie? You know what I'm saying? Once you found out about that, I'm not saying it's true, I'm just saying this is what you're saying. When you found out about that, did you actually stop going to the black box? Did you go in your pockets and say, you know what, I got something on something, let's try to clear this up to where, you can be in a healthier space, I can be in a healthier space, and the other guests can be in a healthier space? You did not. You took that, and you took that risk, and you just kept going up there to the black box. That's what you choose to do. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have a problem with it. But now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now that you no longer have to even go up there. It's not a big old deal, right? Not anymore. But we didn't care about that. Next. Spider Loke talking about how Munchie B be operating like 600 without the credentials is something that I would not have said. That's just my opinion, right? Which I do understand that all's fair in the name of war, and you also can't tell nobody how to war, right? So Spider Loke gonna go about things however he go about it. I'm just saying that I myself would not have done that, because it can actually lead to something, right? Spider Loke speaking on Munchie B can be considered a reliable source of information, right? Based upon them being tight as they seem to be. So it's like, when you start saying that Munchie B operate this type of way and he move like this, it's like, man, tomorrow a person can hem him up. What if he get jacked up? What if you get pulled over? What if they just hanging anywhere and somebody chooses like, hey, you come right here? And that leads to a case for Munchie B. Right? Now I understand people wore how they wore. And that's just that. But me myself, I wouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? I just wouldn't have done that. And that also led to something else with this whole Duse M situation and this leaked audio about Nina Boy, right? Now, what happened was the fact that Spider Loc highlighted the fact that Munchie B be operating like 600 without the credentials, right? That means that, excuse me, that's not what that means. But Duse M's said that he took it upon himself to release this audio that he done had for a couple years now, solely because he was not in agreement of Spider Loc putting these type of, scenarios, attaching this type of stuff to a fellow Damu. If I'm not mistaken, that's like what I pretty much heard the dude Duse M state, right? Alright, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? People wore how they wore. If you want to do this to my Damu partner, I'm going to put you in the twist. So I get it. And in that leaked audio, Spider Loc was speaking on how he had a relationship with Reggie Wright Jr. that's been going on about 25 years. And once upon a time, Reggie Wright Jr. and Nina Boy was not seeing eye to eye. Better yet, they had a problem. And he reached out to Spider Loc as a homie, as a friend, and said, do you have any type of dirt that you have pertaining to Nina Boy that I can use? Now, Spider Loc took it upon himself to give Reggie Wright Jr. some information about Nina Boy, right? Now, it's many people looking at this situation crazy, right? But I got to give you all two different perspectives on that, right? Now, off top, that will be viewed crazy. It will be looked as foul play. It will be looked as scandalous, dishonorable. It would just be looked as something crazy, right? Because Spider Loc is from East Coast, Nina Boy is from East Coast. Spider Loc is a Crip, Nina Boy is a Crip, right? So yeah, that is crazy. And I feel like it's even more worse because, like, number one is like, why would you put yourself in that position with Reggie Wright Jr. anyway? You really put yourself under the thumb, because whether you were to get that information to Reggie Wright Jr. or anybody from here on out, anytime they want to get mad or whatever the case may be, they can highlight and say that you gave him information on a fellow Crip or a fellow East Coast member. Even though we can all understand the differences, for a large amount of people, they're not going to gather it from what makes sense. Like, I heard Reggie Wright Jr. point out on how they are real homies, right? And Nina Boy and Spider Loc are not. So I get that. And for y'all that don't understand, it's like, for the most part, Spider Loc and Reggie are really homies, right? Nina Boy and Spider Loc are just homies based upon representing the same gang. See, I feel like we got this false conception on people being homies and friends and all that based upon a lot of this camera stuff that take place and all this stuff that people do, right? But just because people represent the same thing, that do not make them cool friends. Sometimes people don't even actually even know each other. You know what I'm saying? And the only time the loyalty amongst that gang that everyone represent is gonna be inserted is if you got people who operate a certain type of way individually and carry themselves with a certain type of standard, or you got people who's running around at this time who's willing to dish out consequence. And that means, like, it don't matter if you know him or you do or not. When somebody do something to somebody who represent the same thing, we ride for them. And one thing we don't do is we don't put nobody who represent what we represent in a twist. So I believe that, yes, that's wrong too. And if people from East Coast want to go about that however they want to go about that, that is gonna be falling in in their hands on how they delegate with their homies in this situation. But what Spider Loc did, it happens often. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and act like what Spider Loc did is something that's just way off the wall. It seems off the wall because it's actually getting put out there on the internet, and you just was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, dang, this is crazy. But it happens often, man. And this is why I always tell people, like, it's not really so much about Crips and, it's not so much about Reds and Blues, but it's more about cliques and crews. So you never know where anybody's loyalty is actually, going. You just got to be mindful to know that. Some people loyalty is about who they've been knowing the longest. Some people loyalty is about who they actually rocking with at this moment. Some people loyalty is about who always got their back when certain stuff come up. Some people loyalty is about who they done have money with, who they get money with, or whatever the case may be. People loyalty is, it goes out however they choose they want to distribute it, right? So I want to say that for anybody that's trying to be a part of the gang life or the street life, I hope you was able to understand that and see how it's not a fair game. You know what I'm saying? It definitely is a dirty game. And I'm really about the lifestyle and understanding in and out so well that I'm going to just keep it real. Like, it's people who do what Spider Loc was doing all the time. You know what I'm saying? Some people do what he do 10 times worse. These is facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, my thing with the Duse M's dude is this. You knew to record these situations, these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because you pretty much can hear that this is something that Spider Loc shouldn't be telling you. You know what I mean? You also knew to hold this information because you knew that anytime you put this information out there, people was going to start viewing Spider Loc in a certain type of light, right? So, to me, it's like, why do you view a person like Spider Loc in that type of light, but you harbor it, like, you know what I mean? You sweep it under the rug. You use it as a tool, an instrument to blackmail. I'm not necessarily saying that you charging Spider Loc $100 a month or $100 a week or anything like that for you not to drop that audio, but it was still like a whole situation based upon like, if Spider Loc get out of line, I'ma drop this audio. So even though I get it, Duse M's coming to the rescue or trying to assist the fellow Damu, he also put his own character in a compromising position. Because what Duse M's did is one of the reasons why the streets is so towed up to the degree that it actually is, right? Because the way I'm gathering it, Duse M's must have looked at Spider Loc as a person who's committing treason, a person who's betraying, a person who's does not operate within the boundaries. You look at it like a person who's communicating with the police. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's something that Duse M's has said. Like, him dealing with Reggie Wright Jr. Raised a red flag to him, right? So to me is this. You will view this type of street guy in all of that type of way, but you will hold that secret and leave room for this individual to do all these type of things to another person. I'm just speaking on what Duse M's feel like the world was going to start looking at Spider Loc behind this audio. You knew that people was going to look at it like, as an East Coast member, you should not be speaking about another East Coast member to another person outside of East Coast. You had to know that people was going to say, as a fellow Crip, he had no business giving out Crip information to a person who's not from the Crips. You had to know that. Even though, like I just said, this happens often, as it is a percentage of people that won't speak against their household or won't speak against their family or won't speak against their homies in their hood. It is a percentage. But quite often, homie, the conversation of the streets just become the conversation of the streets. You know what I'm saying? Just like right now, if such and such and them run in there and go rob a bank, you know what I mean, and they get caught or whatever, everybody just gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it may be. Or if a certain rumor come out about a certain person from a certain gang, then that's going to be discussed with a lot of individuals. You know what I'm saying? Because often people will expose a person from their hood because they want to protect the brand. Some people feel like sweeping stuff under the rug is how you protect the brand. But some people know that if you get in front of that and you show that what they do is not representing the brand, and we do not represent the way they represent, then no longer can the brand be held accountable for the actions of that individual, because the brand have made a public PSA speaking against that type of behavior. Now, if you sweep it under the rug and it's some type of, you know, like it's some snitch allegations, and then this person go tell on 2 or 3 dudes from another gang, now you definitely done tarnished the brand, when you yourself knew that this person was no good and what he was capable of anyway. So now that whole gang, everybody is in there talking about a dude from wherever you come from done told on them. The brand can't, you know what I mean? That's terrible now, when you could have got in front of that. But everybody operated in them situations in different ways. I just wanted to put that little piece of education out there, right? Now, moving back to the situation with Duse. This is why the streets is messed up. This is one of the reasons why the streets is messed up, because a person like Duse, that whole concept of like blackmailing people, you know, withholding information until it's time to put it out there about people that they find to be in a bad, you know, and operating inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? This is why the streets be messed up. Just like you be having dudes out here talking about, oh, that's not my business, they hood business, and this and this and that. Which is like, this is why certain dudes can't get their own homies out of a jam when somebody tell on them. You know what I mean? Because that concept of, oh, that's the homies politics, that's the in-house politics and this and that. Foul is foul and wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Period. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the streets be messed up, man. Cause everybody acting like it's not their business and all this and that. But then when somebody telling your homie, y'all want to reach out and try to call and get this and that. Can we get him off the woo? Oh, now you got a request on how a person should dictate with their homies in their hood. But all yesterday or the week before, you was an advocate of how people deal with their hood politics, however they deal with it. So if a person ain't feeling like they want to get their homie off that stand against your homie, you should just shut up and take it. But most dudes don't even understand what type of agenda, you know what I'm saying, or what they actually stand for, and how that's going to actually turn around and bite them in the rear end on another day. But yeah, we've been here long enough, man. That was just certain things that I just pretty much wanted to highlight on how I just don't agree with pretty much any of the things that I highlighted and said I didn't agree with. Now, y'all let me know how y'all view it in the comments.